welcome to church.
Hey, welcome to church.
Welcome to church.
Welcome to church.
Okay, we're continuing on with the letters, and today we're going to go in and we're going to jump into Do Not Worry. How many of you people worry? Come on, be honest. Yeah. How many of you don't worry, but you're concerned? Because I'm going to talk about that, too. So, with all the stuff that's going on today in this world, we have a tendency of wanting to worry. We don't know what's going to be going on tomorrow or next week or next month or next year now or anything like that. Everything is up in chaos. And the thing is we're getting concerned or worried about the stuff that's going on right now. But what's happening is we're taking our eyes off of God and putting it on the world. We're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to worry. Our welfare, our protection, our supervision, our healing, all that does not come from politics, does not come from even the hospitals down the street or any of that kind of stuff or the grocery stores and all that. It comes from the Father in heaven. He's the one that we're supposed to keep our eyes on, especially when things start getting into a turmoil and into trouble and stress. The enemy loves it when he can sprinkle some stuff out there and all of a sudden our eyes get on it and all of a sudden we're going, well, I'm not worried, but I'm just concerned about what's going to happen. The enemy still has our eyes on that. And when our eyes are on that and we're looking on our phone, we grab our phones. I've been seeing everybody for the last week. This is what they do. Every 5 minutes. Oh, it hasn't changed. 5 seconds later. Hasn't changed. Nope, still hasn't changed. And that's what we've been doing. Or you're sitting at home. Click. Well, that channel's saying this. That one's saying the same thing. And our eyes are focused on what's going on in the world. We're supposed to have a vision out there of what's going on in the world so we know what we might be able to minister to and help. Or where we might need to intercede and what we need to pray for. But we're not supposed to be looking at it for things to where it creates worry or anxiety or concern in us. Because when we're doing that, we're letting the enemy take control of what's going on. And the Father has done over and over again in His Word on how we're not supposed to be doing that. We're not supposed to worry. We don't have to have anxiety and all that. So, should we worry? No, we should not worry. Regardless of who's in office, anywhere in this world, nobody is put in there unless God appoints them. It might not be done on legal grounds. It might be done kind of sneakily. I mean, offices and stuff have been taken all over the world for centuries in any ways, whatever people can get in. I remember in the history class, my American history teachers tell me that George Washington won his first vote by giving everybody a small keg of rum for a vote. And they proved that. You know, we do what we got to do, you know. So our concern is not what's going on as far as that stuff. Our concern is that God is in control and that God's will is being done and that our eyes are on Him in all situations. And I'm not just talking about what's going on in politics right now. I'm talking about what's going on because we're coming to the end of the year and, you know, a lot of people are getting concerned about the holidays and what they're going to do for Christmas now because they've been off of work or, you know, and all the stuff going on. And another fear, another concern and worry that's been going on, and it's been going on for months, and we've been teaching on it. I've talked about this before, and it's been the whole COVID thing. Monica and I have been dealing with the COVID situation for days and days, for weeks, but months. But every day we have to deal with stuff concerning with COVID, with people calling us and different agencies calling us and people saying this and saying that. And there are some people in our church that are out and they were tested positive for COVID. If they got it here, we don't know. Just letting you guys know that. We put a video out. I don't know if you guys, get on the church Facebook page. That's where we update and we put little announcements out of what's going on. So it's the Vineyard Facebook page. And there's some people that have been tested positive, but there's also been people tested positive for the flu. And there's other people who were being treated for COVID, and then when they finally got really bad and they went in, they found out they didn't have COVID because the doctors were just thinking that, and they really had pneumonia. So instead of treating it as COVID, they could have given them antibiotics, and they could have got over it quicker. I know more people that are fighting the pneumonia flu thing than they're fighting the COVID thing. And so all that starts bringing our focus to all that and the concerns. They said there was going to be a rise again because in the fall in COVID cases. You know what? This time of year, there's a rise in colds. There's a rise in flus. This is the time of year that all starts. This is not something any different. So I just want to make you guys aware as the pastor of the church is we're going to continue to have church. If you guys are uncomfortable and want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't. We're not going to make you. If you want to try to find a place to sit that's farther away from other people, then do that. If you don't want to, then that's fine too. If anybody gives you a problem for any of it, come see me. I'll take care of it. Because we're all here and supporting each other, and we all have different things. There's some people here that have a higher or a lower immune system. They're already immune, compromised. And so they have to be a little bit more precautious than that. Try not to start talking like a hick like I did last week. I get going and I start combining my words. You want to? Yeah, like you want to eat? That's where my grandpa talks, so it's his fault. And don't get all concerned and worried and frustrated. Like I said, we try to take every precaution here that we can, to help people with their concerns with the whole COVID and the flu and all that. We do every year. I mean, we clean the place every week and, and everything's scrubbed and all that kind of stuff, what we can do. I know more people that are outside the church that don't go to the church that have COVID than I do people that were part of the church. So, and a lot of them work in, they're nurses or first responders and stuff like that, so they're around it all the time. So, it's our main thing is we want to get our focus on what God's doing in our life and where He's going, and we want to let Him direct our path instead of us trying to choose our own paths. So I got a lot of scriptures to go through today, and so we're going to go through them real quickly. But Monica, can you run me that set of notes from up there? This is actually your guys' set of notes. They got switched this morning, and I had those up there anyways. Run them! Thank you. Good job. Now I know where I'm going. Okay, should we worry? No, we all said that. Do we? Yeah, we do. So we need to learn not to. First of all, I want to give you the definition of worry. Worry means give way to anxiety or unease. It allows one mind to dwell on difficulties or troubles. Are we doing that? Yeah, we're doing that because there's difficulties, there's troubles, there's unease in the world, and we start doing that. That's the definition of worry. Now, for those of you who say, I'm not worrying, I'm concerned. This is the definition of concern. The first word is worried, troubled, or anxious. So no more saying, I'm not worried, I'm just concerned. I got to take this sermon home for my mom because she always says, I'm not worried, I'm just concerned. I'm going through that. That's why I like definitions, because it opens our eyes. And it was real interesting. Years ago, in one of the men's group, we had a study. A good friend of mine who's passed away, he taught on worried, and that's where I first learned about worry and concern are the same thing and all that. And so it's, that was 20-something years ago. And his name was Donnie Williams, and he used to travel with my wife and their family when they did traveling music for country gospel music and stuff. And when something sticks to you for 20-something years, there's something to it. Now, anytime anybody says worried, I immediately say, well, I can't be concerned either. And so I'm hoping today, with me sharing this to you, I'm bringing some truth there that no longer we can worry or be concerned. We just got to be trusting in God. Okay. First of all, I want to show you, we know what we're supposed to do, but I'm going to get there. But first of all, I'm going to show you what the world is doing. What the world right now is doing, what's going on. You got to hit the side wire on the... Okay. I know. Got technical difficulties. Just throws me off. I'm not used to looking at red. That's fine right there. Just leave it there. Is that the color it's supposed to be? Well, how about that? That's the color that the screen goes to when the input doesn't connect right. So it's my bad. I apologize. Yes. Forgive me for I've been concerned about what they're doing in the back, and I should mind my own business. Okay. 2 Timothy 3:1-4. This is the characteristics of the last days. But you need to be aware that in the final days, the culture of society will become extremely fierce and difficult for the people of God. People will be self-centered, lovers of themselves, and obsessed with money. They will boast of great things as they strut around in their arrogant pride and mock all that is right. They will ignore their own families. They will be ungrateful and ungodly. They will become addicted to hateful and malicious slander. Slaves to their desires, they will be ferocious, belligerent haters of what is good and right. With brutal treachery, they will act out without restraint, bigoted and wrapped in clouds of their conceit. They will find their delight in the pleasures of this world more than the pleasures of the living God. Does that sound like what's going on right now? Even before the stuff that went on this last week, it's with the COVID thing, the riots and all the stuff going on. This is the way people are acting. This was them talking about the way people are going to be in the last days. Every day we get closer to the last days or to the end. So, we're working into that. So this is what the world does. Do you want to be associated with that? No, we don't want to be associated with any part of that. So this is what we do. This is what God requires us to do. This is Matthew 6:25-34. Don't worry. It says, this is why I tell you to never be worried about your life. For all that you need will be provided, such as food, water, clothing, everything your body needs. Isn't there more to your life than a meal? Isn't your body more than clothing? Look at the birds. Do you think they worry about their existence? They don't plant or reap or store up food. Yet your heavenly Father provides them each with food. Aren't you much more valuable to your Father than they? So which one of you, by worrying, could add anything to your life? Let's stop there for a second. So what can you add to your life by worrying? Stress. When you get stressed, you get sick. When you get sick, you get more stress. And then when you get more stress, you get more sick. And it's a snowball effect there. We cannot add another day to our life by worrying about what's going on right now in the world. But we can add days to our life by worrying about what God's doing. Okay, let's go on. Verse 28. And why would you worry about your clothing? Look at all the beautiful flowers in the field. They don't work or toil, and yet not even Solomon in all his splendor was robed in beauty more than one of these. So if God has clothed the meadow with hay, which is here for such a short time, and then dried up and burned, won't he provide for you the clothes you need, even though you live with such little faith? Even though we live with what? When we start worrying and stuff, it's because we're not having faith in who the Father is. We start getting more concerned about what we might be able to control instead of letting him be in control. So then forsake your ways. That was a good one when I was reading this. This is why I like the Passions. It says, forsake your worries. Cast them aside. Don't pay attention to them. Worries come up, give them to God and move on. Why would you say, what will we eat? Or what will we drink? Or what will we wear? For that is what the unbelievers chase after. I'm not an unbeliever, and I don't think you guys are either. I believe in God. My eyes are on him. I'm trusting in him no matter what the outcome in any situation in the world right now, with flus, COVIDs, politics, anything. My eyes are on God. I've got myself to a point that I'm just trusting in him, and I've been able to breathe a little easier. And that's my hope for today, is to get everybody's eyes back on the Father. Okay. Doesn't your Heavenly Father already know the things your bodies require? So above all, this is above everything. Above work, above family, above politics, above sickness, above vacations, being on a beach, having a Mai Tai, any of that stuff. Above all things, constantly chase after the realm of God's kingdom and the righteousness that proceeds from him. Then all these less important things will be given to you abundantly. I like that. Then all these less important things. We're taking the little things that matter and trying to make them into great big things. And then we make them into things that's where our focus is. Like Monica likes to do a thing for years. She's done it, and she did with the youth and all that. You know, you get a big problem, it gets right here. And when you put your hand right here in front of your face, all you see is your hand and a couple little things out here. So when you get a little problem or a little situation in your life and you make it a big thing and that's where all your focus is, it's all right here. And then you can't see what's going on. But if you move your hand out here, I can see everything now. And that's what God's trying to say. Keep your focus on him. Let it be on him so you can see what's going on around you, so you can be aware of what's going on, but you can still see and focus on him. That way, when he brings a path before you or opens a door or a window or whatever, you're there and you see it. But if you have the world's problems right here in front of you, or whatever's going on in your life at the moment being the main focus, you can't see what God's trying to do for you. He wants you to be able to see what he's doing. So we can't go and say, man, I've been so stressed and so worried. God's just not been, what's God doing? And God said, I'm doing all kinds of stuff, but all you're doing is looking at this right here. Take a step back. Take a pause, as Monica says. Focus on what God is and what his promise is. And then you will see the path that he lays down before you, and then you'll know which way to go. And that's mattered no matter what's going on in the world. Because believe me, it's going to get way worse before we're done by the end of time. I mean, it's already been put down. It's going to get way worse. And if our eyes aren't being taught and learned to focus directly on him, then we're going to be in trouble. Now is the time to be faithful in the little things that are going wrong right now. You know, be faithful in him with this stuff. And then when the bigger things come in, it'll be natural. It'll be muscle memory. It'll be something that we would naturally and easily do. Matthew 6, 25 through 34, on verse 34. Refuse to worry about tomorrow. So stop worrying about tomorrow, because some of you are already thinking about what's going to go on tomorrow. So stop it. I got 2 words for you. Stop it. Those are easy ones to remember. You don't have to write them down. Just stop it. But deal with each challenge that comes your way one day at a time. Tomorrow will take care of itself. I got enough I have to deal with today. If I start worrying about what I'm doing tomorrow, it's going to make it to where I'm not so efficient today. And God wants us to be on top of our game all the time. So take care of what he tells you to do today, what the focus is today, and then tomorrow he'll refocus you and get you going on what you need to do tomorrow. The cool thing about that is tomorrow never comes. So it's always just working on today. Years ago, when was it? 1996, back in the 1900s. That was a long time ago. We're getting old, Monica. Excuse me. Should do that in the mic. Years ago, before anything was in this valley right here, Monica and I had 3.5 acres, just like a half mile past where the church is. Nothing was here except for a Jeep trail, and we were the first house in this valley. It was a house that was a Sears and Roebuck kit house, built in 1908. Came in on the rails into Prescott, and they built it, put it together in Prescott, and then like 60-some years ago, they picked it up and they moved it to Chino. And back in 1996, Monica and I had it picked back up, put on big beams, and they moved from Chino out to here. It was 730 square feet. Now it's like 1,830 square feet. And but when we were building that house, being in Prescott at the time, there wasn't quite as many jobs as there is now. I was working at Ruger, making like $6.34 an hour, and working my tail off to do what we can do. Monica was watching kids. We had like 10 kids she was watching and doing homeschooling and all that. But we were trying to put this house there. We got it. And we were actually living out there on the lot in a fifth-wheel trailer with our 3 kids, trying to decide we were going to either build, try to get a modular, or we wanted to build a log cabin. And so we were out there trying to decide what we were going to do. And I was taking care of horses for the Mingus Ranch up on the hill there. Excuse me. And one of the horses got sick, so I called the vet out, and one of the vets came out, and he's going, "What are you guys doing out here living in the trailer? What are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, we're trying to decide what we want to do." And he goes, "Well, I have 2 houses in Chino that I need to have moved, or I'm going to tear them down because I'm going to put a clinic there." And he said, "If you want to look at them, you can go look at them, and I'll decide, give me a price, and I'll sell them to you or whatever, sell one to you." So Monica and I went out there, and we looked at it, and out of the 2, we saw one that she really liked, a little tiny thing. And I started checking, and it was going to cost him $4,500 to tear it down and haul it off. And I started doing more checking, and it was going to cost me $4,000 to have it moved. And so I went to him and said, "Look, it's going to cost you $4,500 to tear it down. I'll move it for free. That way you don't have to tear it down." He goes, "Okay, you can have it." But that was after praying. We were starting to get worried. What are we going to do? We're stuck in this trailer with 3 kids, going through flu seasons and all that kind of stuff in a fifth-wheel trailer with 3 kids. Doing all that and going, "Okay, God, you got to do something." So God opened the door there. He gave us the house for free. I had to come up with the money to move it. We finally got it situated where we're going to be able to move it. But before it could be moved, they said, "Well, measure the dimensions, make a foundation on stem wall so we can bring it out and we can drop it down. It's going to be high enough so the beams can be pulled out once they lower it down." So, okay, I could do that. So I started trying to do all the stuff to do that. Still not making very much money. We're just getting week to week, trying to come up with money to do this stuff. And before I did the foundation, to the footers for the stone, because that mainly had to be the solid part, I had to have so much money, and we were short, $300. And I'm going, okay, now this is Sunday morning. They're coming tomorrow morning, like at 8 o'clock in the morning, with the concrete. I got to have the check ready to pay them when they show up. And we didn't have it. That's Sunday. Like, where are you going to get it on Sunday? So Monica and I prayed with some friends. We didn't really go into it because we want God to do what God's going to do. We prayed. And then after service, Pastor Harry walks up to me and said, hey, here's an envelope. Somebody said that they wanted to bless you, and here's a check that they wanted you to have. They gave me last week, or whatever it was during the week. And we opened it up, and it was $100. Okay, we're a third of the way there. I'm still being a little concerned. God's saying, don't worry. Don't be concerned. I got this. Don't get your eyes on what could happen. Get your eyes on me. So Monica and I are praying and stuff. We get done with service. We're up there praying, and I was doing sound at the time. And I go back to the sound booth because we were at the high school, so it was all portable. So I had all the soundboard was in a cart. I walk back there, and there's an envelope sitting on the back of the thing, and it says Lloyd on it. And I open it up, and there's a $100 bill. And when we prayed with like one person or a couple people. We didn't tell everybody. I mean, this stuff's happening. Okay, there's 2 of the 300, but we still got to have another $100. We wait till that afternoon, that night, nothing came. We're still praying, trusting God. Nothing was coming. We get up in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, looking around, there's still no money. I go, okay, well, we lived out here, and that was before cell phones. And there was no phones out here. Like I said, we were out here, we were living out there just on the trailer, 12-volt stuff. So I had to drive into the church offices, which were in a house here in Prescott Valley. Into my office, drove into there, walk in my office. Monica and I went in to use the phone to cancel the concrete because we have to have the money. We're $100 short, and that might as well have been $100,000 at the moment. And they're going, okay, well, we almost made it. We go in, we unlock the front door, we go in, we open our office door, and then the envelope falls down from the door. We stop, pick it up, open it up, and there's $100 in there. The enemy was trying to throw things at us. It was trying to get us to worry, to get our eyes off of God. But every time we started coming back to God and focusing on Him, He started being able to move and do things because we're allowing Him to move. Instead of letting all our focus be consumed on this mountain we had in front of us. When we got back and got away from the mountain, we let Him move, then He was able to do things. That happened over and over again on the house that we were building out there. And God provided in multiple ways, through multiple things over a period of 16 years while we were building and doing that house. And kept us from having a lot of financial problems and troubles and all that because we'd get our focus back on Him, and then things would happen and it would take that off of us. But if we would be consumed by it, it would have just buried us. It would have destroyed us. It could have broke our marriage. I mean, it's not very, conducive to a marriage to be in small quarters for years and years and years with no power and no running water. But in that situation, those were some of our best years. Our kids love it. Our kids loved it. They loved having the kerosene lamps and stuff like that. And, but my whole thing of telling the story is don't let the mountain that's right before you consume your thoughts and your worries and your anxieties and all that. Put the mountain aside, give it to God, cast it into the sea, and trust God is going to do what He needs to do. Give Him room to move. Let's stand. Father, I know that each one of us has something in our life right now that we've been consumed with, that we're letting it take too much of our attention, too much of our time, too much of our thought. And Father, right now, I just ask that you just bring that to the forefront of each person's mind. The thing that's right now is the main thing. And I ask that you would just give them the ability to lay it down at your feet. To be able to take the concerns of family, business, politics, health, finances, car problems, whatever it is. Father, let us lay it down at your feet. And let us look up to you for the direction and path you want us to take. You already know what we need, but you want us to acknowledge and give you room to move. So, Father, this morning, we give you room to move. We give you room to come into our lives, to bring in your peace and your joy that passes all understanding in any situation, in any circumstance. Help us to be like Paul and them, where we can be singing worship songs even if we're in prison. Don't let what's going on in this world consume our thoughts or our time, but let us spend our time chasing you, Father. And then all the little things will be taken care of. Father, we thank you. And we bless you that you are in control. That no matter what is going on, you are our God, you are our King, and nobody can change that. We thank you.